Well, welcome to our Aintree preview, and of course we're building up now to the Saturday Grand National Day, but there are plenty of other factors to be taken into account before we look at have a look back at the big race. Fitzy, of course, it's fascinating, this Trainers' Championship as well. We've got your old boss, Nicky Henderson, and Paul Nicholls as well, the reigning champion. And, hey, let's be honest, a good Aintree, that's sealed.
Well, I think it could be. You know, if you have 3 winners at Aintree, 4 winners even, it could be 200,000, and 200,000 is a hell of a lot of little winners to claw back. So, you know, Nicky's got a good team going there. He's got a strong team as well of horses that have won at the festival. So, you know, you can see why bookmakers have made him odds on.
Well, it's really interesting. In the big hurdle, of course, sees the return of the champion hurdle, Rock on Ruby. And I know you were you were talking to Paul Nicholls, Boyce, at Cheltenham. We were talking about that, you know, Zarkandri wasn't quite happy with. But Rock on Ruby, it wasn't a surprise to him that he ran so well.
I think he thought he was the percentage call of his 4 in the champion hurdle because he'd had a very good preparation compared to Zarkandri. Had won his previous race but had a bit of a cough after his win. And he wasn't saying that Zarkandri wouldn't run well, just that he wasn't sure. He had that sort of slight concern. In the event, I think Zarkandri ran okay, actually, in the champion hurdle. He was probably... I spoke to Darryl Jacob just the other day on ATR, and he said he was just struggling for toe. He just wasn't comfortable at the pace, and then he picked up late on. But I think he was a bit below par. So I think Zarkandri, you can probably not say forgive his run in the champion hurdle because it was a fair run, but he's probably even better than that. So he's an interesting run. There's just a suspicion with Rock on Ruby that Rock on Ruby and Overturn just got away from them a bit in the champion hurdle, Mick, and I just wonder whether that really was what it looked like. You know, Overturn's a very good horse. Is Rock on Ruby a real champion, do you think? Or?
You know, I think you have to go back to the Christmas hurdle and say, well, when Binocular got beat by Rock on Ruby, I know AP felt that Binocular wasn't as good as he used to be. You know, take nothing away from Rock on Ruby. Very good winner on the day, given a great ride. It seemed that the other guys were watching each other at the back. Ruby's got there on Hurricane Fly. He's pressed the buttons. He had no response. AP the same with Binocular, no response. So you can only beat what's around you. I like Zarkandri. I think 2.5 miles round Aintree. I think he was done by the fact it was on the old course. I'm very interested in Zarkandri round there, 2.5.
I'm just going to say, I was going to say about that. I've never been afraid of stating the obvious, but 2.5, 2.5 does make it a little bit different, doesn't it?
It's half a mile further, Luke.
Yeah. Right, we'll move on.
No, go on.
Oscar Whiskey, does that, you know, surely that this is his ideal trip, isn't it?
Winner last year.
Whether he takes his chance, we don't know at this stage. But yeah.
Winner last year, likes the track. 2.5 miles, like you said, is his perfect trip. Good solid jumper. The worry would be he seemed to have a very hard race at Cheltenham, and that would be the only negative for me.
Okay, let's move on. I don't care. There cannot have been a horse have an easier race at Cheltenham than Sprinter Sacre. I don't think he even knew he had a race. This, for me, Boyce, if ever a horse excites me, this is it. This is just a machine.
Yeah, it's one of those, you know, as a sort of, cynical punter through bitter experience. You kind of going into Cheltenham, you thought, well, he hasn't actually done it at this level, perhaps, but your eyes are telling you something different. Every time you see the horse,
that Newbury
he's stunning to look at, and he seems to do everything so easily. He seems to hit everything on a stride. It seems to be effortless, and it was one of those occasions where you should believe your eyes. I think he probably is as good as he looks, isn't he?
Oh yeah, you know, I said it before Cheltenham, and I said it in the preview we did here. I've known Nicky Henderson for some time, and I have never seen him as excited about a horse as he is about this. And, you know, I think that was borne out of what we saw at Cheltenham.
But it's all about people wanting a bet. You know, logging onto the website here. He's going to be really, really short.
1 to 2.
Yeah, I think he'll be shorter than that. But anyway, whatever. Look, Would you pile in? Are you going to back him, Boyce?
Almost certainly not. It's not something I do. But you don't have to play. You know, you don't have to find a punter. You can look for something each way. You could look for forecasts. You might want to double him up with Simmonsig earlier on in the day, who also looks a bit of a good thing if he turns up. Sometimes, I'm a great one for saying it's all about the betting, and it is. Betting is people's connection with the sport. However, every now and then things come along which are just kind of beautiful, sublime, perfect, big bucks. Sprinter Sacre. You can just enjoy them. Put it this way: you're not going to get rich taking him on. I don't think.
Simon Sigg, would you again? Is he a certainty?
He looks it. He looks in a different league to anything else around. I don't think the Irish have got anything that will go close to living with him, and I don't think we've got anything over this side either.
The only entry it was Cotton Miller. He's got a couple of entries.
Yeah.
I mean, if you forgive him that.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Luke. I mean, you two have ridden all your lives. Do you forgive a horse for that? Was that just a one-off, or was that some kind of mental aberration?
Do you remember the horse of Oliver Brady's? You know, it for whatever reason does encourage a horse. You do wonder what goes through a horse's head if he's thinking of doing that. I grant you, but he's going to be a player, isn't he?
We forgive him. How well was he going? He looked like he was still travelling, wasn't he?
He was very much travelling okay. I think if you forgive him that, you know that he's going to give you a run for your money.
Okay, well, look, although we've already looked through the Grand National, Boyce, your idea of the winner of the National and a lively outsider.
Well, for me, they might be one and the same thing. I like Rare Bob, who's an outsider's prize, but I think he's got the right profile. If you want to look towards the head of the market, I don't like Synchronised, I don't like Junior, I don't like Kappa Blur. Bala Briggs is solid for the frame, and of the favourites, West End Rocker looks pretty solid.
Yep, and the reason, obviously, looks like we're going to get a soft Grand National, Fitzy. Again, your winner and an each way from you?
On his own, I really like this horse. I think he's got everything going for him. Top man on board, 2-time national winner in Ruby Walsh. Giles Cross, big price each way. I just think he's guaranteed to stay, and I think soft ground should suit him.
I think the two crucial things is the horses for this Grand National meeting. The horses, have they got over Cheltenham? Will they handle soft ground? I'm hoping that Chicago Grey can win the Grand National.